Booyah!
Good day, everybody.
Hey, Lucas.
Lucas, have you seen his new photo?
Leaning against the wall.
Leaning against the wall.
Sunlight beaming in.
His hand.
It's almost like he got motivated.
What got him
Inspired.
motivated? Yeah.
Sometimes, great artists copy, the best artists steal.
Hey, babe, when you tone down,
It was bottom and top.
So,
So,
can you show me because
yeah.
it's
Hey, Mike, don't worry. I'll do the live.
Yeah, show me how you, because I know you did it and it went well. And how fast are you doing it?
So you're doing like you guys do.
Okay.
Booyah! Look at that.
Okay, yeah,
I fucking love the Twitch emotes. I wish YouTube would let us do that too. Yes, sir. Bro, keep loading these questions up. We'll bang them out. He'll be back in a sec.
That's why it's like keep on doing.
So,
Sore elbow. Look at that one. What a beautiful unit.
Whoa. So I just had a talk with an English production company. Excited. I like the idea the writer wrote a piece actually for me. So that was cool. Good discussion.
Serge, Messi or Ronaldo? Ronaldo. What?
Why Ronaldo? Exactly. A question on that. I do have a question on that. Put that down for me. But from me, for you guys to answer that. Because if you're speaking of one aspect, you're speaking of just soccer. Who's better? I'm assuming they asked that question because it shouldn't be a question of life. How would you not want to be Ronaldo? Movie star looks, not even movie star looks, like iconic
A
looks.
yacht with a bunch of 20-year-olds.
Ronaldo. And he has a great personality and so
No question, you're just a huge inspiration, man.
thank you, man. Thank you.
Shy, you can ask a question.
What else we got going on?
We
See,
got-
I like this.
What do you got?
Ronaldo. Yeah.
Ronaldo.
It's like I don't know when they do that kind of stuff. Who would you want to be? What are the football players? You got Brady and then you got Manning. Who would you want to be? Brady.
The one getting laid.
Yeah,
Don't
it's
get
like
paid
the one
and
that's
laid.
24/7, not just on the field. That's why it's like, who would you want to have? The greatest body in the world, or be C-Bum,
See?
which has a great body.
Would you rather be considered the best competitive bodybuilder or the bodybuilder that's getting laid in all the movies, has all the women around him?
I'd rather be that guy.
You know what I mean? Question. So when you're doing shoulder press, do you stop at the chin or do you go down towards the chest?
I do both. When I do, that's front shoulder press. I'll do both. I'll do, if I'm going extreme power and I feel it, right? I'll even do this to where my head's back because I'm arching a bit and I'm bringing it down to the chin right there and back up, keeping it in tight. Or if you're trying to be real pretty form, then it's here, like if you're using a Smith machine. Or I go all the way down if I want to just do a whole range of motion. So the problem with me is I tell you to do all those. And then I find that the majority of mine is all the way to the chest and it's still crazy heavyweight. So
Both of them.
both of them.
That's a common answer to a lot of those. Do you do this or that? Well,
That's a good point. Jeffrey's making a point that there's a question on which one should you do, because then it makes me think that you're gonna take out the other one. The other one is incorrect to do.
Obsolete.
That's not in any exercise. So just so that is what I found out through the decades, is that they're both good. One may develop you better, but keep them both in there. And so I think Instagram has a trend where they do the X and the green.
Very binary answers.
Yeah. Don't go all the way down. Just go to here, because that way then you'll save your shoulders. Doesn't work that way. In no world does your body work that way. The full range of motion is the one that's going to save you longer term.
I think once you like understand what you're trying to create, and then you understand what tools you have available to you, then it comes together. Instead of just thinking, oh, I have to use the hammer all the time. The hammer is the best tool to get the job done. Sure, maybe in this one situation at this moment in time, but there's all these other tools that can do a lot. So don't discredit one just because you don't really know how to use the others. Well, champ, what's the best supplement besides Test to help a 46-year-old male gain muscle with a tall, lanky frame?
Glutamine, in my opinion. You got that's. I'm sorry. I got pulled into your question to answer your question. What's the best supplement? I'm going to go amino acids, both BCAA, EAAs. I like leucine. I like glutamine, DHEA, vitamin D, C before and after the workout. I'd go some creatine before and after the workout. I'd also do some glutamine at night before bed. I would probably do a double shot of the amino acids, even though I do have it in my drink 24/7 on all my water. I would go some vitamin E as well. Think about some magnesium, as you well do, some calcium. Then you got some good ZMAs and GABA before bed, some melatonin.
It sounds like the best supplement is a strategy that complements your goals rather than a singular item that's going to get you some type of result.
I would say that you're right. And I guess I got sucked in on the question. I wanted to give you like that one, but there isn't. That's not life. There isn't the one.
And instead of giving him one, you gave him one plan. Because take out the supplements. You listed out a schedule. You mentioned the morning. You mentioned
Before the workout?
You mentioned the nighttime. You mentioned all of these things that weren't related to, a specific answer, but it was a plan.
Yeah, because he wants to, and his question here is, he's 46. So he's in society's world, way past his prime,
Expired.
And he wants to build muscle. Okay, well, I have to take in consideration with common sense. I hope that you're still moving correctly and can do all exercises and have good range of motion. So I'm going to give you vitamins that helps also not just with muscle, but with recovery, with being able to help with the connective tissue and also retain that muscle as you're breaking it down. Because that nutrition is going to be so perfect for you at 46, and you're going to be like precise. So all those factors have to go into play. Does that make sense, my friend? Robert F.
Oh man, all the boring stuff.
I would hope they don't think that, but I know what you mean.
Well, because you take beta alanine, and instantly your fucking ears itch, and you're like ready. You take glucosamine, and you don't really feel anything, but
there's a vitamin that feels like it does nothing for you.
Feels like it does nothing, but for me, at least in the back of my mind, I know I have some type of extra layer of protection that's in the mix, but I don't feel it technically.
And I agree with you. And I think that's a side note he just hit. What are you taking that may not be enhancing you, but it's enhancing you? So you're not getting better, but you're at least retaining. So remember some of the supplements. I have my supplements set up here's for that internal, what's going on. I want to make sure the kidneys and the liver and the health. Here's my joints and connective tissue. Here is my pre-workout vitamins. Here's my post-workout vitamin. Here's my nighttime vitamin. So I have different sections in different places. And it's funny, the connective tissue and all that right over here, the only way I'm going to know that that's working is in 5 years.
Right? That's a big investment.
Well, what do you mean in 5 years? Well, if I'm still moving in good range of motions with everything and I'm still going in there, then those worked. But I won't know for 5 years. But I'm going to take them now until that point in 5 years. Think about that, guys. Think about what can you do that you may not see instant gratification from, but it's going to set you up in 10 years, 20 years.
And what's the worst you're gonna fucking where you spent $20 and you pissed on it? Oh well.
Yeah.
Like that's the worst that's gonna go on.
But it's your health. It's your health in your body. If I'm going to blow money, I'm going to blow money on that
Easy.
with the hopes of.
Steve, it was 5:05. Come on, dog.
Yes.
Don't cut me short.
Yeah.
It was 5:05, baby.
That was a five. That was a 5 and a little change. Remember that bar is 55 pounds, and then we had collars and all that.
That's right.
Get some more. What do we have?
I don't know what a DUP program is.
Sorry, don't know what that is.
I'll Google that in a sec. Or you can hit this up.
I'm jumping back to the top, seeing if we got any gold tickets
What's a
here.
good meal plan to help with protein and bulk?
What is a good meal plan to help with protein and bulk? Hey, Tucker. So, well, you mean what's a good meal plan? I'm guessing for off-season meal plan. Well, you got to take in consideration where your calories need to be, and where they are now. I would take in consider where your calories are now, and then I would calculate it up from that point. And also calculate in, which a lot of people don't do, is your goal. What is your goal? So let's go off of your goal.
I like the goal.
Instead of what you are right now. I'd go off of that. That's how I'd do it. And that is where you would go to get me working on your meal plan.
I see Mike O'Hearn and I Mike O'Learn.
Ooh. Well played, my friend. Well played.
Do you think sumo and straps is cheating? Yeah. Get the fuck out of here. Take those photos.
Yeah, that's a person's opinion.
No, you're chilling.
Remember, you're doing sumos for that nice hamstring connection. So I don't understand why that would be. And straps is something that I don't recommend unless you're going for a PR or something like that, and you don't have the strong hand strength.
That's a PR though.
Yeah, that is a PR. Because I've lifted.
Yeah.
The straps have gotten away. I've stayed away from them so long, but you could train with straps. I recommend not just use your body as you possibly can. And then on those rare occasions, strap it up. You can wear the straps on bent over rows, but again, I would say try to get your strength up there, your hands. And one of the reasons nobody talks about is so your ligaments and connective tissue through the arms, through the shoulder, and into the back stay healthy instead of doing more of a relaxed and a pull. So you're strapping, right? And so now this is torqued. This whole thing, you're not really holding on anymore. Now you just it's a strap, so you can just yank it as hard as you want. And years and years and years of doing that, my common sense is that you're in lengthening those ligaments, which is going to cause issues later on. And I've seen that with a lot of guys, the elbows, the deteriorated triceps, where those indented and the nerve damage. So try to build them up. There's no cheating in weightlifting though. So I would kind of lose that concept. Here's the problem. you're on social media, but you're thinking like a high school kid. Yeah, that doesn't work in the real world. There's no cheating. If you want to use straps, use straps. If you want to do sumos, do sumos.
You're also concerned with how other people
Yeah.
view you when you're doing that exercise, not for them. You're doing it for you. Who cares what their opinion of it is?
Don't do the high school stuff, guys. Anybody here, don't do the high school stuff. You care about your time, your physique, you're building you. The opinion of what you're doing should matter more compared to people that you don't know that goes on there and says, hey, you're doing sumos. That's not a real lift. Just go, cool, dude. Great. And then move on.
Is there any point in flat bench, or should I just stick to the incline?
It's a great exercise, guys. I just like most of us, it was at Golds in the 90s, realized that flat bench is a secondary exercise. I would use that as a secondary exercise and start with the inclines. The great thing about inclines is, again, let's analyze the body. Most likely you have a good developed lower chest. And if you have a good developed lower chest, because you're a guy and you're born with somewhat of a lower chest, my 5-year-old has a lower chest. Develop the upper chest. Develop, delts, biceps, okay. Develop that upper chest the best you can, but keep it in. Keep the flat bench in. I know there's some exercise just you like, you have fun with, so keep it in there, but just use it as a secondary exercise. Or say, no, Mike, I'm going to make that the main exercise. Cool.
Yes, you did. You made it.
Brian, yep. Welcome, my friend. Welcome. We didn't finish the discussion of Luke's and his pose.
Oh, yeah, Luke.
Luke, find this shot. Because this kid, we got him ready, got him in shape, got him like sick. Here, take that and upload that. And so he dieted down. And what's cool about this cat is Big Johnny. Hi, buddy.
What's up, man? How you guys doing?
We're good, man. We're just talking about this kid that I helped get sliced and diced, and he got in incredible shape. And then suddenly, who knew? Because he was in incredible shape, he hooked up with a hottie, a baddie. Is that what they call him? And now they're living together and everything. But this kid, man, you talk about consistency. It goes back to, right, Johnny? It goes back to everything we always say. It's just the guy that does the basic work over and over again.
That's right. That's key.
And he's also on peptides. He's over at Titan Medical.
Oh, nice. So we're helping get there. I like it.
He does the EAAs. He does the Hercules potion. He probably does some of the. I'm going to blow the name. When you want to blow it back out.
PT 141.
Yeah, the PT 141. Look at this guy. Look at that.
That's good, man. It looks good, dude. It looks really good.
Right?
That look good. Yeah.
It's like
man.
Bobo
How old
times
is he?
10. He's in early 30s.
30s?
Lukey, how are you? But he's one of those guys that really just stays consistent, stays with it. And what's cool is that he hooked up with this hottie, and now they train together. And it's cool. And I still want to talk about this. The circle of people you put around you.
Yes.
He's not just out there dating a girl he met, and it's okay, but he met somebody that incorporated in the health and fitness and incorporated the eating healthy, and that's a better relationship. That's the only way I ever worked. It's never dated a girl that. I mean, we can talk about your young days if the missus is not around. Obviously, we had fun, but a lot of that fun was with ones that we didn't date for a long period of time. But I never dated a girl for a long period of time that didn't exercise, that didn't try to prep meals and stuff like that. Did you ever do the 20-year-old party girl? Didn't work out, all that?
Me personally or him?
No, you. Forget
Me.
Luke. He's done. He's done.
No,
He's going to marry this one. He's over with.
You know what, man? I mean, to be honest with you, I've never dated a woman or a girl that's ever prepped meals or worked out continuously.
So the opposite.
Consistently. It's just something I never thought was like a big thing. Like, I mean, I didn't really get into like, I mean, I was working out myself as an athlete and stuff like that, right? And I would always look at the magazines and stuff like that, but I never found a component or a partner that would do that. Even with Charisse, like I've helped her get a lot healthier for sure, and she doesn't restrict me on my workouts. But I've seen, you know, with some of my friends that they get in a relationship with somebody and they're not exercising, right? And at that point, then they start like giving them flack for going to want to exercise or going to the gym or doing whatever they need to do. And at that point, like that person is actually holding you back or doing you harm by doing this. It's a selfish thing. It is. And I know some women will say, well, he works all day and then he goes to the gym for an hour or two and then he comes home and he eats and he goes to sleep. Well, I mean, this is something that, you know, when you start wanting to have a relationship with somebody, you usually have common things that bring you together. You guys, you know, all right, cool. And there's
It's not
different
just how
things
hot she
about
is.
you.
She got a banging butt.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the butt, top, bottom, TNA is what it's all about, you know. So, but I mean, seriously, like,
Yeah.
at that point, like, you know, if you don't have somebody doing that, it's harder to stay on track, and it's a lot easier to stay on track when you have somebody that's supporting those goals like that. Now, Sharice was never like, oh, don't do this, you know. When we first got there, you know, eat more, you know, do this. So she was trying to help me, but I would like her to do it, and she's got on her little kick now, Pilates and all that, where she's doing by herself. So that's fine with me. Do it whatever you want to do, but you got to exercise. You got to have some activity, because it's just no good if you don't. Man, the body is not made to just sit around all day. It's not. It's made to move. You got to do that.
I see a lot more of this in the martial arts world. The guys that because they go to work, you know, then they're done with work at 5 or 6, and then they come over and then they roll for a couple hours, and then I hear about I haven't eaten, you know, or my girl's yelling at me because I'm spending too much time rolling, and so it's like, oh, it. And the reason I'm saying this, guys, for you out there, is a life lesson, I guess you would say, and that is choose not just for the hotness of the woman, but like Johnny said, it's like at least someone that doesn't shut you down from being that person that goes to the gym. This is for you girls as well. If you guys like the gym and the guy doesn't, and you want to eat healthy, I recommend making sure that the significant other has somewhat of the same interest, or at least allows you to do that and doesn't bug you on that.
Support you. Yeah. If they support you, that's great. That's what it's all about. It's all about support, whether they like it or not. That's where the unconditional love comes into play. You know, and they love you, they'll support you, and they'll follow you all the way through the journey, no matter if they like it or not. You know, and at that point, like, you know, you could motivate them to want to do better, and that's really what it is. I mean, you motivate your partner, they motivate you. When you're down, they pick you up. When you're, you know, when they're down, you pick them up. So, I mean, I think it's a big thing. But I think, you know, obviously activity and for a relationship, I think it's a lot easier. And like I said, first thing when I told Charisse when we started getting serious, because back then I would get up, I'd work all day, I'd go to the gym, come home, eat, and then sleep. If I had a girlfriend at the time, I'd hang out with her. But I told her, like, when we started getting serious and we started having kid talks and all this, I don't care about anything else. I'll sacrifice everything else, but I gotta get at least an hour in the gym almost every day. You know, that was the big thing for me. It's more of, it's not just building muscle or going to the gym. It's literally a mental stress break for me. It helps relieve stress. So, and then all the health benefits that come along with activity too, like that. So it's a major thing. It should be a priority for people.
So for you guys out there, I did date people that worked out and dieted. John did not. Both made it through. No problem. Kept our physiques still, and still stayed on track. And I think outside of me, because the people always trained and did their nutrition, Johnny, because he stayed on track, motivates the other half to start. And that's a cool thing in all aspects. And I know that Mona kind of is trying to motivate me to do more stuff around the house and all that. And yeah, it's not going to work, but still, at least we're trying, right? So, it's the attempt of trying to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. For your partner, for relationships, sometimes you like, whatever they're interested in. Like, if it's your kid, sometimes it's video games. You might like to play video games, but you do it because you want to spend some time with the kid and you have some things to do together. But it's simple things like that. And, if they try to at least go there or attempt to be around you or be there with you, that's another good thing. But like I said, if they tell you no, like people like they shame people that prep their meals. I've seen this more lately than not, and it's just really weird that somebody would do that. Like, you can't, like, you have to eat clean like every single meal, or you can't walk around with it. Like now it's been really crazy, Mike, since we got back from Olympia. Like I've been so consistent with meals, training. Like I literally been carrying my cooler and I've been getting it on point. So it's been a good thing for me. But people are asking me now, like, why the hell are you bringing your cooler everywhere? And I got it with me, like literally wherever I'm going, because I got water in there, I got my protein drinks there, I got food in there if I need it. I've been eating my fruit. I mean, it's been on point. So yeah, don't let anybody shame you because you're trying to do better for yourself in any way, shape, or form of life.
Before this question for you, Johnny, I think that's one thing I saw. The social media has become a high school kind of thing. Like somebody just said, "Hey, is using straps and doing sumo deadlifts cheating?" It's like it's a high school mentality. If you need to use straps to lift the weights, I'm fine. Sumos are a great exercise. In no world is it cheating. It's just a different exercise. Right. But the concept of them going, Johnny, why do you prep all your meals? Why do you do all that? Such a high school mentality.
Right. It really is.
I think we saw a lot of that with the politics. People going on there and bantering and arguing. It's like, hey, great job, guys. Way to go online and argue with somebody about politics that you don't even know. There's some quality time spent well.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of uneducated people out there doing dumb things. That's for sure. Yeah. All right. So what is the best way to break in the fitness industry and make money? What's the best way to break in the fitness industry? I guess make some cool content that gets out there, something niche, something you're good at, something that like people like. And at that point, if you do it really well and you have passion for it, you can usually monetize on it. So, whatever it is. I mean, if it's you want to work out or you're giving fitness tips or you have to have something that people want, something that you bring value of or that people feel interested in, right? Because some people don't bring any value. They just bring the dumbest crap out and it sticks. People just want to watch dumb stuff sometimes. That's how reality television is kind of that way too sometimes. So, yeah, that's the way I would say to break in the fitness industry. I mean, I would probably try to collab with somebody that is somebody in the fitness industry or do your own work. And like I said, find your niche. And at that point, start monetizing on it. I mean, that's the best way. I mean, for me, but Mike's been in the game a lot longer than me as far as that goes. So he could probably give you a lot better tips than me.
I think so in my day, I had to win competitions. I had to be the best in my field in powerlifting or in bodybuilding. So it helped. And then I was unique in a sense to where I could do something most couldn't. And so that helped me get into the industry, but it was me competing that set me there. I don't think you have to compete anymore. I think it is character and your personality. You'll go through pages and some people hit because of the personality. And so I would just stay true to who you are. And just like Johnny said, the magazine now is your social media page. So put out content. Be honest about the content in the sense of training and stuff. Let the personality show. So the one thing I wouldn't do is probably the continuous workout every exercise. Every post is an exercise. It's just Mona's going through my page right now and doing a complete unfollow on so many pages. It's like, I don't need to follow a personal trainer if this isn't our way to connect and stuff. So
Right.
just be you, be entertaining, be funny. I've seen so many kids that aren't in California anymore. They're just all over the United States or over the world that just are fun to watch, and they're having fun training, and their personalities.
Yeah.
Like David Lade, man, is so big, and he's such a young strapping kid. But he's got a great personality, so it's not always about the lifting.
Right.
Be in shape.
It definitely
You look
isn't
like you're in
anymore.
shape.
I mean, like back in the day, like, when I used to watch people, I mean, that's how those guys got the big contracts and everything like that. They were professional competitors. And at that point, they were winning competitions and they were on the magazine covers just like yourself. And at that point, that's kind of how people broke out because there was no internet, there was no social media, there wasn't anything like that. I mean, today, I think it's a lot easier, obviously, and people have an advantage because you don't have to be anybody and you can just throw your stuff out there. You can tag pretty much anybody you want to on social media. So if you really want to try to get in front of somebody's face, you most likely can to a certain degree. So, I mean, I think it's easier than ever for people to monetize on content, and that will break them into the fitness industry. And like you said, don't be a one street way, I guess, at that point. Like if you just do training videos over and over and over, it might get old to somebody. It's really about showing like a little bit who you are and being organic about it too, I believe. Unless you put on personality, some people do it like that, but I like being organic. I think it shows who you are, and I think people relate more to being organic than not. All right.
Big Johnny, go with it.
What's the best supplement besides tests to help a 46-year-old male gain muscle while tall, lanky frame? With a tall, lanky frame, excuse me. All right. So if you're on testosterone, great. You have everything optimized. Everything's balanced. Now, what else can help you gain this lean muscle you want? And you're tall and lanky, right? So we want to start looking at some different things. One, we want to make sure your calorie intake is going to be there. You know, I just had this talk with an employee that asked me, like, hey, listen, I want to start gaining some muscle. What can I take? I'm already taking a Hercules on it. So I said, I'm like, listen, you got to start increasing your calorie count. One thing. That's one. Two, what supplement though? So two things would pop into my mind for somebody to possibly use to really gain some muscle. One is MK677. I would utilize this to increase calorie count, increase IGF-1 levels, increase strength, so you can build more lean quality mass, right? Especially if you're on a tall, lanky frame. That means you don't have a lot of weight on you. So at this point, this will help you get there to that degree. The other one that I would possibly look at, or even possibly combine it with, is testosterone. That's the other one that I would use because raising the IGF-1 levels are going to help build lean mass. And as you get older, it's a little bit harder to do this. Okay. So when we talk about this, we need to really start throwing some big guns at it per se. Maybe even IGF-1. You can go that route. And
Could you
IGF-1,
do? Could you do the testosterone with the MK?
You could. The only reason I would do
They
that,
work differently, don't they?
there's a rhyme to reason on this. So the reason I would do it is because one, we're going to increase that IGF-1 level to max level we possibly can. So that's going to help with recovery and all these other good things that go along with it and growing and creating more lean mass. The other thing is that we're going to increase the hunger. So we want him to eat more calories. So we got to increase that hunger. So that's why I would say with this one, yes, this one will be a good one. If you ask me, should I do CJC, iPro, and testosterone? I would say probably not. I'd say, you know what? I don't really see a lot more coming out of this. But MK and testosterone or MK and CJC or something like that, I see some benefit for that because, like I said, when you start stimulating, even the hexarelin, that'd be another one. And that's one of the new therapies. And at that point, you do hexarelin and MK. It'd be a little bit more inexpensive than the testosterone would. But, with testosterone, it hits adipose tissue. I like that. That's one thing that I like about it. Not just raising IGF-1 levels, which is great benefit just by itself, but actually, having that adipose tissue getting attacked too as well. I mean, that's just a benefit health-wise all the way around.
Would you do this for 12 weeks and then
Yes.
retest your blood work at that time and then
Yeah.
maybe change the protocol?
So yeah, so I would
or
do it.
have
I
the
would
discussion with your provider at that time. 'Cause-
no. So what I would do is I would do like it just depends what kind of way we're gonna go here. So if we're gonna go a stacked way, I guess we would go probably 90 days with MK, and then at that point we can continue on with testosterone. It just depends on how things are going too, right? Like we want to check in every 28 days, make sure you're all right. How are we doing? Are we moving along here? And then at that point, after the 90, assess and say, all right, we're moving in a great direction. We're going to have to get off the MK. What can we do to hopefully just generate and recover and hit the place of this? So at that point, I would probably do an IGF-1 thing, as far as that goes. I'd do an IGF-1 for another 60 days. And at that point, if you want to go back to the MK, if we need to start, gaining some more weight still, then we can start going back on that. Every couple of months, it would cycle off the MK and go back on it.
All right. So going off of this guy right here, he's 46 and tall and lanky, like he says. So there's a chance that he could do the MK with the testosterone for 90 days and then recheck in with Titan Medical at that point and try to put on that great bump up that IGF to where he's putting on some good size, some good strength, and helping his hunger.
Right. And you should see some pretty good result within 90 days. I mean, just on MK alone, I think, in 90 days, you'd start seeing a good result in strength and starting to put on some quality weight, not a whole bunch of, unless you eat a whole bunch of garbage. Now, if you go to McDonald's 3 meals a day and you're hitting like 2 quarter pounders and 2 fries, we might put on some bad weight there. We don't want that. We want to make sure that we're putting on quality, lean mass and weight. And at that point, that would take you eating well to do that. Clean per se.
What about testosterone and AOD? Any benefit to doing that?
I would do it for weight loss. You could do that too.
All right. So you're talking about, before we go too far down the road here, I want you to explain to everybody the difference between testosterone, and I think you were doing that at night correctly, and then AOD would be in the morning or twice a day from some discussions. Please explain both and what's the difference between them.
Sure. So AOD is the sequence of growth hormone that just conducts weight loss, lipolysis and lipogenesis, the destroying of fat and then not storing fat, basically. So that's what it's going to do. It's going to help with just weight loss. There's going to be no IGF-1 bump. There's going to be no growth factor. There's not going to be no anti-aging effect. It's going to be purely weight loss driven. Okay. Now, when we have that, that's going to just hit weight loss. Now, if we hit testosterone, then testosterone is a GHRH peptide. So it's going to bump your natural growth hormone to raise your IGF-1 levels. Okay. So we got that working. So now the growth effect, the anti-aging effect, all that is there. So now we have that. And we have the weight loss effect as far as attacking the adipose tissue. So in terms, you're talking about expediting fat loss and weight loss as a pure result with both of these combined. And we're talking about, like I said, raising IGF-1 levels. So if you're training in the gym, you're going to recover faster. You should be getting stronger. I mean, this should all be going effect, anti-aging effect all the way around. Sleep pattern should be better. Like skin should be better. Like this should definitely, turn things around for you a little bit.
If I'm correct on this, you use the term weight loss. For these guys out there, is weight loss with AOD fat loss? It attacks the fat correct? Okay.
Fat loss.
Right.
When I talk about all these, I should probably say it should be fat loss.
Yeah. I want to make sure I've got that right. And I wanted them to understand that it's not for sure. If you're hearing weight loss, I always think of that skinny fat person. I've dropped 10 pounds. Okay, but you don't look any better. You're just dropping full body weight. Where AOD actually attacks the fat guys. Right. You guys are all talking about that. A lot of you message me and say, hey, how do I get rid of this last bit around my waistline, my lower back? Yep. What John is talking about right here.
Yep.
This attacks
That's definitely it. Especially around the stomach area. That's the most common area. For both males and females, it's the most common area for adipose tissue. And adipose tissue, if you guys don't know what that is, that's really bad fat that surrounds your organs. That's like really unhealthy. We don't want this. And it accumulates over time. So at that point, like it just keeps getting thicker and thicker and thicker. And that's how you keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So how do we really attack it? Now, weight loss comes throughout the whole body. There's not one area where we just say, you know what, I just want to lose weight in my arms, or I just want to get abs. So I'm just going to do crunches. It doesn't work like that, right? Generally. Now, with testosterone,
No, it doesn't work that way. But
it doesn't work that way, right?
Yeah.
But with testosterone, we can attack the adipose tissue directly in the stomach area. So that's the really cool thing that I really like about it. And I always bring it up and I always talk about it because there's nothing else that really does that. So when we can attack the whole body with weight loss, and then we can attack the adipose tissue directly, I mean, you're getting major, major benefits from these two things. And then we add in the IGF-1. So let's say you gave it an 80% shot of what you're doing as far as, you know, intensity and being with it. You probably get some good results at 80%. Now, if you gave it 100% effort, you probably get some really, really, really good results. So it's kind of up to you as the driver. I could give you the fastest car that shifts the best and is the best on the market, but it really does come down to the driver driving that car, how good that car does that lap, right? Like he can drive that car. It really depends. So, you know, it's all what you do with it, or the tools that we give you, right? You can be a really good carpenter, a really bad one. It really depends on how much you want to put into it. So, you know, it's up to you to take that stance and to be the architect of your own body. But you only have one time and shot to do this in life. So at that point, it's not ever too late. I mean, I hate to say that. I mean, if you're 80 years old and you're on your deathbed, but, you know, if you're 30 or 40 years old and you've been overweight your whole life, it's not too late. It's definitely not. I've seen people turn around like crazy. And I never thought that because I've never generally myself been obese. So I never came from that state. I don't know what that mindset is. Like, man, I'm obese, I'm fat. Some people call me the fat guy my whole life or whatever it is. I've never been there. So I can't step into that. Have I lost my weight a little bit and gained some weight I didn't like, you know, previously before Titan? Yeah. Did I fix it? Hell yeah. But at that point, like, I don't know. I don't know, man. I think people want that more than ever if they are overweight, for sure.
You said 80. And I didn't watch the movie, but Demi Moore is in a new movie. And I think it's the one that you recommended. Okay, so you recommended it. Jeff said it was so pinnacle of divinity. They got the idea off of Divinity, off my movie, and Steven Soderbergh. I was like, I love it. Bypass all that. When I was growing up and people would talk about retirement and senior citizens, you know, it was 65. And that's oh my gosh, that's old. That is ancient, even 40s old. In today's society, we get people going, hey, I'm 30. Can I still put muscle on? I'm 35. Can I still do this? I would like all of you today to go out and look at Demi Moore, who is 62, almost 63 years old. And I'll tell you right now, phenomenal. She's almost a 65-year-old, you know, and she is beyond. So here we go again, that society thinks what is possible. And here's Demi Moore showing what is possible. Now well, that's one person out of, let's talk about that whole circle of people. Rob Lowe, 61 years old. Look at what he looks like. Look at these people. Rob Lowe could take your girl, everybody. Hi. Yeah. You know, it's like, you know what I mean, though? It's like,
I do.
They're going to do this, and seriously. They're going to do this. And it goes back to this that stupid saying about the 4-minute mile. You can't do it. Your heart will explode, you know, and then suddenly the first person does it. And then it's just a domino effect of others beating that record. And so for all of you that are on here today, John is just giving you MK, You want to
Yep.
put some extra muscle on, get that hunger going. Somebody asked about
Yep.
bulking. How do you get more hungry? These are some questions I've got so much of. Sorry about wrapping on here, Johnny, but
Oh, I love it,
you're
dude. I love
giving
it.
golden tickets. This is golden tickets. You guys talk about, I want to be more hungry. I'm sluggish now that I'm eating this. MK. Okay, let's talk about that little bit of body fat around the waistline. Well, you got AOD and testosterone, two things that are working differently at the same time. Holy cow. And again, it's available for you guys right now, and the numbers right there to you. But yeah, it's time to start looking at these individuals that are out there and breaking it open, going, hey, you can really not just, I mean, Demi Moore's not just being active and whatever at 60, almost closing. She's closing in on 65. I know people hate when you say she's 62. Guess what? Before you know it, she's gonna be 65, and she's gonna look so much like she does right now.
Of course.
You know, you got Brad Pitt, who's again can take your girl, 60 years old, and these people are just showing you what is available now to society and life.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if these people do peptides. I don't know what they do, and I know somebody out there will say, "Well, they do this, this, and this." Well, they're the kind of individual.
I'm sure there's people out there. They're going to say, "Well, they have unlimited funds, so they can get all the procedures, and they get all this stuff." So let me give you my example. Right now, I don't know. I mean, I've seen some pretty phenomenal women in the fitness industry at 70 years old. I mean, you know, it's hard to say actresses, but I've met some people personally in like 68, 69 years old who looked like they were in their 40s. I mean, as females. So at that point, like,
Angela Bassett.
I think it's about really taking care of yourself. I think, you know, obviously genetics come into play to a certain extent, but somebody with really good genetics,
you can't chalk up genetics. You can't go, I'm not going to do it. Why? I don't got the genetics. You don't know if you got the genetics.
Yeah, no, it's not.
So
it's not going to
be chalk it up to that and help out.
Yeah, it's not a scapegoat. Definitely not a scapegoat. Because somebody with great genetics, they can destroy themselves. I've seen people with great genetics destroy themselves, and they look worse than somebody that had bad genetics. So there's not a conversation there, but there's definitely a conversation with somebody that takes care of themselves or somebody that abuses themselves.
66. Okay, I look at this. Can you pull up a photo of her?
Demi Moore?
I did a TV show. No, I did a TV show with someone that's older than Demi Moore, who in person, phenomenal. And again, if you asked how old, I don't know if you can pull it, but Angela, I did a TV show Angela Bassett is the lead of.
Oh,
and she's 66 years old.
Great shape.
But she's like, you meet her and you go, okay, here's something. Because everybody on here, when I believe lotion is good for your waistline. And there's like, oh, but you didn't have lotion back in the day. Well, no, I had other lotion back in the day. And now we got the Titan Medical lotion. And it's like, so you keep doing it. But just basic lotion is a good step to keep the moisture in the skin. Sure. And so you have better texture. Sure. Again, it's such a simple thing. And people only want, I'm fat today, tomorrow I want to be ripped.
Right. That instant gratification.
So again,
I wish it was that easy. Everybody be doing it. That's my common saying in the streets about anything like oh, it's tight. Oh, you know what? If it was that easy, everybody would be doing it. It's something that like we talk about. You can't fake it to make it. You got to do the right things. You got to be consistent, and it will show. If you're not, it's going to show.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know. Oh yeah. Listen, Angela Bassett, dude, she's been. I mean, her guns, man, like in Tina Turner in that movie.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? I mean, man.
A buddy of mine, David, trained her for that movie. That's 66, everybody.
God bless her.
Beyond. Yeah. And then again, Demi Moore fit 62. And what?
Bobby, whatever his name is, the actor. Remember, in the morning he got up. He did his NAD. What do you mention like 3 peptides? Testosterone.
Which guy?
The actor in the show.
Oh my God, Billy Bob Thornton. Yeah. New show for you. Yeah. Another one of these Tristan shows. Yeah, Landman. Yeah. The Land. Billy Bob Thornton's got a great one. But I love how they started the episode. It showed him getting up in the bathroom. He did his NAD, he did his B12, and he did his testosterone. Yeah. He shot all 3 of them. Yeah. Oh my God. And I'm sitting there going, I love the writer and producer of those shows.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
But it's just, again, I'm glad they're letting it become mainstream and
Yeah.
and going NAD helps. Talk to us about NAD. Obviously,
really
I
does.
don't know how Bobby. How old is Bobby?
Billy Bob?
Billy Bob, who I freaking
He's
love.
got to be in his 60s too.
69.
69.
Yeah.
What a
He
sick
was he
dude.
was like his late 50s when he was dating
He's
Angela
a
Jolie.
savage.
Remember that?
A freaking savage.
That show, absolutely amazing.
Remember, I like the way you talk. But again,
Okay.
tell me about NAD and why is this the Hollywood buzz for all the celebrities that are doing this?
Yeah. So NAD is an awesome therapy and so many health benefits. There's no downside to NAD. So anybody that's out there, that's one I would definitely incorporate with my regimen. And why would I incorporate that regimen? Well, one, it's a coenzyme. It's in every living cell in the body. It helps produce ATP, and ATP is energy throughout the body and pushed through the cells. But what does it really do, and how does it really help you? One, it protects your DNA. So DNA can be damaged by all kinds of different things. So we don't want this. We want to protect our DNA to make sure it's good from oxidative stress, from different things in the environment that could be damaging us on the inside. Two, it's going to help with mental clarity, and it protects from neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's or dementia. So at that point, it helps repair cells at the cellular level. So at that point, what happens is our body, as it goes along, cells get damaged and they try to repair themselves and they never repair themselves back to where they originally were at. With NAD, it actually helps repair those cells. So there's so many different great benefits you're going to get with NAD just for longevity purposes, anti-aging purposes, for mind and mental clarity, enhancement, and protective components. And then at that point, we talk about protecting our DNA. That is a major one. So this is why everybody's taking it in Hollywood. One, it makes you sharper. Two, it's going to help with anti-aging and repair of your body. So at that point, you won't age as fast. I guess that'll help
Minimize the
biological
decline.
aging. So that's why they're all taking it, you know. And I've been talking about NAD. God, man,
Actors
it's got to be 9 years.
helping them.
Oh yeah. I can
remember-
still understand that.
Yeah.
We
I was
brought
just
out
she was talking about these actors and stuff, talking about that, and I go back to Phil. He's talking about it. Is learning the lines, remembering all that kind of stuff, going on to the stage to do your, lecture or whatever it is. You got to be so on point.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so again, this is one of the early ones that I heard about.
Yeah, NAD is a really good one. Like I said, that's a big one. I've been talking about it for I think 8 or 9 years. Even when we started compounding and give it to our patients a long time ago, like 8 or 9 years ago, they tried to come in and shut it down because of that, because they didn't want NAD hitting the market. So it's just crazy how that's came, and we started pushing it real hard, and then it started picking up commercially. I think about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and then it started getting pushed real hard with IVs. But like I said, IVs are great to take it, but I would take it like an intramuscular shot with a little insulin needle, and you could do it daily or every other day, or whenever you need it, basically. And at that point, you don't have to go sit for 2 hours and get an IV and get stuck like that. You can go about your day. So you get up in the morning. Let's say you have an event you have to go to, and you have to give a major speech there. Then at that point, you can go and you take your injection. You're ready to rock and roll for that speech, and you're on your way. And there's nothing in between you and that. You'll be laser focused. That's one thing I love about it. It's a natural energy, and it's just like I said. We used to call it our limitless therapy because that's the best thing I can describe it as. It's not going to make you learn foreign languages in 2 days or whatever happened in the movie with Bradley Cooper, but it was the thing that you can feel it if you take the right dose. You can feel it engage, right? Your body engages with it, and at that point, kick in. And then you're on your way and on the way to rock and roll, whatever you're trying to do.
I love it.
I've used it, been a big proponent with me for sure.
You do a lot of lectures and talks and stuff like that and interactions. So you got to be on 24/7.
On point for sure.
Here's another one for you. And you got some great ones
Sure.
on this.
Sure. So
And I talked about this earlier, the sore elbows and using the straps. That's why I recommend, if you can, I get your hand strength to coincide with your arm strength, to coincide with your deadlifts and stuff like that. Is my recommendation. But if you do get elbow stuff, Johnny's got the and again,
So
the Wolverine protocol.
yep, that's what they call it. They call it the Wolverine protocol. Now, sore elbows, any joint areas, let's say shoulders, knees, whatever, ligaments, tendons, muscles. I mean, at that point, we really want to talk about BPC 157 and TBA 500, which are healing peptides. And the way these healing peptides really work, the main component is creating new blood vessels to bring new blood to these areas and take out inflammation in the body too that way. So at that point, that's what it's really good for. Now, it can be used as a preventative, or if you have this acute or chronic pain, it can be used for that too as well. Usually it's between, maybe a 6 to 12 week protocol, depending on what the injury is, what you're trying to achieve as far as that goes. But you'll notice a big difference right away. That's one thing that's helped me. It's helped so many other patients in different injuries. I mean, so many I couldn't even name them all. So, I mean, wrist, toes, knees, even if you were to have like you were to have a scrape per se, or road rash from a motorcycle accident, because that's what happened with some of these patients, and actually applying it topically to those areas too as well can really help wound healing too. Aloha, I was 468, now under 300. How long can you take BPC 157 safely and GH? I take 3 units of each a day. Any supplement you like for tendon and muscle recovery? So when we talk about this, that's awesome you've lost that much weight. 168 pounds is a lot of weight to lose. Using BPC 157, you can use it continuously. So there's not some time limit or cycling on and off with BPC 157. Now, growth hormone, as far as that goes, listen, you can take it. I don't know what your numbers are IGF-1 wise. There's people that take it forever. So that can be taken forever. But I recommend that. That's not up to me. That's up to your provider. BPC 157 you can take forever. And at that point, 3 units, that's when my question comes into play. Because when I talk about 3 units, I'm like, is that 30 units you're really talking about? Because 3 units would, you couldn't even, I couldn't even put that there on an insulin needle. So at that point, I'm thinking it's 30, but what's the medication dosage that you're getting in the 30 units? That's the real question, because the way you dilute the medication is the dosage you're going to get from the medication when you pull it to a certain number. So, I think that's what really counts, but you don't want to overdo it on growth hormone, and BPC 157, there's nothing bad that's going to happen to you if you do overdo it. All right. What is the best form of B12? So there's different forms of B12, but when I say that, there's a methylate, there's a cyanocobalamin, there's a hexacobalin. So what's the best one? Methylate is considered the best B12 version. Methylate is supposed to be more bioavailable to the body. Now, what I've seen, because I've seen all of these B12s and I've seen patients take them and see the result on blood testing. And what I've seen in blood testing is if you took cyanocobalamin or you took methylcobalamin, you usually came back over range or at an optimal healthy level. There was nobody that took one shot of each or other, and at that point came back lower or higher. It was just is what it is.
Set up. All you, Johnny.
All right. Weightlifting for Kyokushin. Low reps, heavy weights, lifted fast superset with plyos. I don't know on this one. This is too much.
It's a martial arts.
Too much for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I would be strong, and the supersets and the plyo is great thing for you. Athletics, right? Athletics.
Yeah. It's all about being athletic for sure. All right. What fat burners? So fat burners, we have fat burners at Titan Medical Center. We have our ECA stack ephedrine, caffeine, B12, chromium. So, and a little aspirin that's in there too as well. If you're allergic to aspirin, we can take that out. But we talk about real ephedrine HCl. So when we talk about that, it's one of the best ones out there that you can use for fat burning, energy, mental clarity. And then we talk about caffeine, which is another big one. And you combine these two for thermogenesis in the body. And at that point, adding in B12 and chromium to, basically mobilize more fat loss. And at that point, increase more energy in the body too as well. So these are some really, really good things. We have different doses for different people too, because stimulants and fat burners, some people, they went to GNC or big box stores per se. They get a fat burner over the counter. Now they have jitters, heart palpitations. It's not going to be like that. It should be a nice, clean energy. It should be able to get you through and not have heart palpitations or feeling like a ping pong ball going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure we've all been there with pre-workouts or some sort of stimulant in our life. All right.
That is true.
Any advice on what to take for Charlie horses, getting them in hands, feet, and hamstrings? I'm drinking electrolytes, magnesium, potassium now. Well, that's really what I would say is potassium, electrolytes. It's a good thing. So Mary, how long has this been going on for? Charlie horses? Hands, feet. So it feels like you're just cramping and can't let up as far as that goes? Because man,
what about
that's...
what about if you're getting ready for like a bodybuilding competition and
Yep.
you're at that stage where you're cramping like a lot? Would Hercules potion or anything like that be something to consider?
So-
'Cause I know a lot of bodybuilders that get really
I would
cramped
definitely
up.
look at something that has taurine in it too as well. That would help with some cramping, I would think. And then obviously the electrolytes, magnesium, potassium. I mean, these are things that, but depending on what you're doing, I could see somebody in a bodybuilding competition getting it like that, but like somebody that's on a normal day that, that's not really like cutting back on all these different things. So, with this, I would try to maybe introduce some taurine in there. Maybe that's for the cramping, but how much are you doing electrolytes, magnesium, potassium? Maybe you need to up that just a little bit.
I'm trying to think of what a Charlie horse is.
Charlie?
I always think of a Charlie horse like is when you get hit and then someone punching the thigh. I said,
Yeah,
"Oh."
that's kind of what I would think of. That's why I said the cramping. Like I used to get it before where like my hand would or my feet.
Right.
I'd be laying in bed and like, I got this bad cramp. It was like, but
Mary, let us know what
that's-
the difference between a Charlie horse and a cramp is.
yeah.
'Cause I give Titan a Charlie horse every time he comes home from school.
Or a knuckle sandwich, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Little knuckle sandwich. All right. Viking Joe said, should you train sick? How to preserve muscle during illness recovery? So personally, I wouldn't go train sick, just depending on what it is, because I don't want to get anybody else sick. I don't want to wear down the body anymore. I want to get that immune system back fortified and strong. That doesn't mean you can't do activity. I just wouldn't go to the gym. I'd probably do something at home, maybe do some exercise if I could, maybe some push-ups, sit-ups, stuff like that, where I'm keeping it there. Now, if you're feeling really ill or you're burning up, you want to make sure that you're breaking the temperature per se and make sure you're recovering, because at that point, that's the biggest thing, I think, is making sure you can get your hunger back if you lose it. Because some people, like I know when I've got sick, sometimes you lose your appetite. And you want to make sure you're eating, because if you're not getting enough protein in the body, you might be going through muscle, and you don't want that. So I think if you recover properly while you're sick, if you're getting enough fluids and you're eating enough foods, I don't think you're going to lose that much muscle. So I don't think it's a big deal. I think if obviously, listen, you go train, you don't have an appetite, you don't eat anything, right? Like for half the day, you're not getting your water or anything like that. I think you're doing more damage than good at that point. Just my personal opinion. That's how I've done it. I've tried to train when I've been sick. I don't think it's a good thing, depending on what the sickness is, I guess, right? Like, I don't know, maybe it's a little head cold, but even then, I kind of just sit back for a day just to try to get my body a little bit more built up. And at that point, maybe I'll see how I am the next day. But that's me. What about you, Mike? What do you do?
You're sick. You'll be fine in a day.
That's what I'm saying.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Tips for maintaining long hair. Well, Mike would probably be better at this than me. How do you
I will
maintain
say
long,
this.
beautiful locks?
For the last year, I've done a combination of 3. I do the Titan protocol of the shot, the tablet, and the
Yep.
cream.
So we're
The
talking about the
foam,
injectable
sorry.
biotin,
Yep.
the hair health capsules, and the hair foam, Titan hair foam. Those are the 3. If you want to maintain long, healthy hair, you want to keep the hair that you have.
Don't drop. Yeah, do the 3. And then also another one is don't cut your hair.
True.
You get long hair. Yeah, sorry.
True. Keep your hair
You're
long.
golden.
You'll love it.
But yeah, the thickness of the hair and the healthiness of the hair.
Yeah.
So,
You know-
side note, Big Show, Paul White was out here
Yeah.
and he goes, your hair's like 10 times better. And I go, oh, okay. And he goes, yeah. Last time you looked like a scarecrow when I saw you. Now it's healthy looking. I was like,
Thanks a lot.
yeah, I like it. You know, I'm okay with that. But coming from somebody that's on TV and always there and
Yeah.
has been. So
Yeah.
I loved hearing that. It's like, so it's one of those things that Jeff and I were talking about earlier is you don't see it instantly, but it's cool how those things sneak up on you. And it's like, wow,
Yep.
all right.
Yep.
So
And you might not even notice it as much because you see yourself every day. It's other people when they see you and they haven't seen you in a while. They're like, hey, man, oh my God, like you lost weight or what'd you do? Like,
Good
man,
change.
like, you hear it all the time. And that's a good thing too. That's a good thing to hear for sure.
yeah. The scarecrow part was the good one. That's funny as hell. Dude. Yeah, come on, that's funny. I could visualize that as soon as he says, well played, sir. Well played.
Oh shit. All right. What do you suggest to someone who's 24 and trying to build discipline? Be consistent.
Wow. Go.
How are you trying to build discipline? You got to do the right thing over and over and over in everything you're doing. You got to be accountable. Hold yourself accountable. I think that's the biggest thing for building discipline. It's like you got to hold yourself accountable and you got to do the right things over and over and over. And I think by doing that creates routine, and by doing that creates discipline to want to do it.
Good for you, though. At 24, I do say this. That's a good question, bold statement. You know, you trying to do this, and you'll find, I think, it's just you just being repetitive, and especially repetitive. And I know it's an echo, but just repetitive on the days you don't want to.
Yeah,
it sets you up.
that's the biggest thing. That's
So
the biggest thing.
good job, man. Good job.
Yep. All right, so Mary's back. She says, it's when my toes cramp and go opposite directions. Same with fingers, thumbs, hamstrings, ball pull tight. Yeah, I used to have that all the time hitting my toes. You know what'll cure it, honestly, and I know you're taking it already, potassium. You don't want your potassium to go too high. We start messing with electrolytes and stuff like that, guys, it can start getting dangerous. So just be weary of that. But, man, I would go back to eating a banana. Try to incorporate a banana instead of taking a supplementation of it. It worked like for what I was doing. And at that point, it might work for you too. I don't know. I mean, that's the only thing I could possibly offer up, I mean, to this than anything else. I mean, because usually that's what it is with cramping like that.
Mary, will you let me know if this happens or frequently happens after a high day? Let me know if that is
Ooh.
something too. Let me know if it's
Sugar?
you're pretty on point during the week, and then maybe you have a high day, and then that leads to some cramping. Let me know if that is something.
That could be it. I have both ACL replaced. Well, what to build stronger legs but knees swell? Any ideas to work them other than squats? As far as exercises, that's not my department. What can we do to get your legs stronger? We can do a couple things like Hercules Potion. We can incorporate some GHRH peptides in there, IGF-1 possibly. because that could take away some of the inflammation maybe in the areas. BPC 157, TB 500, even with the replacement in those areas, maybe beforehand or after, even if you're feeling the pain afterwards because the swelling and everything like that.
Yeah, you got him replaced though, right? Is from what I understand here.
Yeah.
Is that what you get, Jeff? They're replaced, and so he's healing,
Replace.
or it's been months and months, and yeah. Look into the peptides that Johnny's talking about, BPC, TB500.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I would do. But as for exercises, I would still keep squats in there, even though they're air squats or something. No weight on there, but just keep the range of motion and make sure the hips and everything in your knees are. And you're not squatting with your knees in a sense. You know how you don't be doing front squats. Don't be doing bodybuilding squats. Make sure you're doing a good wide stance power squat where there's very little movement to the knee. It's the body's rotating. You're not just going straight down and up. So that's what I would also focus on too. And that's for everybody. If you guys want to see squats, you can go over to my YouTube stuff there. But look into the peptides. The number is there. And I would do that regardless of this, you having the swelling or not. You have an issue with your knees. I would do that regardless of your leg development and stuff, guys.
Yeah.
For most everybody on here, even if you don't have, I would still do that just because you want to prevent. Don't wait till you're injured.
Here's a case where you make a statement, give a brief answer, and then you get a response like this. Oh, not.
Go back to it. Let's see. What do we?
This one. Not Popeye.
So front squats are worse than the knees.
So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the.
Like Heath Evans says, you can't coach stupid. Sorry, guys. I was explaining to somebody that was doing something that wants to try to stop doing it. Yeah, there's no reason for me to explain this.
Yeah, I know. I just thought it was a good example.
Don't take a term out of what I'm giving that guy for everybody in the world. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. But great point on your part.
There was another one earlier about a guy who said he's not making any progress and he hasn't done his blood work ever and he wants some advice. There it was.
I've been working for years and I've been taking in more calories than I burned. I never got any blood tests, but I haven't really been seeing progress, maybe a pound every couple months. Well, have you got a blood test? We need to get a blood test. That's the first thing. Got to see what's going on with hormone. I mean, we have no idea what's going on. And then at that point, what are we doing here? We really got to look at everything else too, as well. I think it's a whole picture we need to take in with all the details.
Why would you wait so long? You're putting in an effort. Why would you wait so long? I'm just curious on the mindset on that. If you could answer us back real quick or something, I don't understand anybody out there. If you don't in a month see progress in the direction that you want to go, you want to get stronger, bigger, more size. If you don't see progress in 1 month, you're not doing it. You got to change. If you don't see weight dropping in a month,
right?
Why wait? Why you're kicking your butts going to this stuff? Why would you wait so long? And especially if you've upped your calories and there's no change, that's really telling you, step outside of yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Are there some common markers that you've seen on people's blood work where they come in like this guy, where they're like, "Hey, I'm not making any progress. I'm kind of at a stop right now." Are there some go-tos that you're looking for?
100%. Listen, especially in the older guys, usually it's testosterone. That's like one of the biggest markers that I see. And listen, it's not to say that you can't do your daily routine having low or unoptimized testosterone. I see a lot of guys that do it. I got a guy that works for me who's probably like at 400 or so. He's not tired. He still works out. He feels okay. Like he doesn't want to do it. But, he comes to me today and he's like, I want to put on some more muscle. I'm like, Well, we got to create that optimal environment for the body to be able to do this. And, he's in his 50s. And at that point, like, the older you get, it's not to say that you can't do it, but it's a little bit harder to do than when you're 30 or 20 years old, right? Our body is just growing at that point. Now it's kind of, hey, listen, we're here and we're not going back this way. So at that point, you're gonna have to put in a little bit more effort, and you got to make sure the environment is there to grow. The other marker that I would look at would be IGF-1. I would definitely look at IGF-1. I would look at free and total testosterone and make sure those are good. Other than that,
Do you think people don't realize? Do people think real? So we talked earlier about age and how these people are setting up a standard that I wish more people would do, and like Demi Moore and Angela Bassett are showing you can not just look halfway, but you can look ridiculous into your mid 60s. So my question though is, do people think that your body? Because I said, if it's been a month, why aren't you making something happen? Why aren't you changing? Why aren't you asking yourself questions that there's others? Do you think that society thinks that you don't change in a month? You don't change in 3 months? You could stay on the same diet for 6 months and see very little change? Is that a common sense thing from the people that you meet and talk to?
I mean, I guess. I mean, they think that, but I don't know. I mean, you should be making some sort of change. It should be going in some sort of direction forward. Some things should be changing, whether it's weight loss or you're gaining a little bit more. I mean, if you're doing the right things in the body,
one way or another, right?
You should be making some sort of change. And
the reason it wouldn't be is because the body's not working with them.
The body's not. Yeah, it's not working like it should. So it's going on half-ass per se. Right? It's whittling down the road. You got 2 tires that are flat and you got 2 tires that are running. You're kind of just moving. You're still moving. You're just not moving as fast because your 2 front tires are flat. So at that point, like, you can still move and go forward, but you're not going to get to where you want to go as fast as you want to go, and as easy as you want to as well. I mean, that's the biggest thing that I see with a lot of guys. I'm just like, I try to explain it to them, and a lot of the guys will see the big change. That's the difference, is when it's come to us and it's a very common response. Listen, I'm doing the right things. I'm eating. I'm so clean. I train 5 times a week. I have all this, like, everything is perfect. And then I'm like, all right, listen, let's look at the blood work. And we start looking at the blood work, and these are the common things that we see. And then when we turn it around and their levels actually get optimized and they're dialed in, they thrive. It's just a total turnaround for most people in that situation.
I wish
energy
more
starts coming back.
That.
Yeah.
I mean, I just wish it would, because if you're out there and you're not scared to get the blood work, don't be. You're just getting blood work to tell you what you're doing. And it's like,
right.
I don't care if you're 20 or 30 or 40 or 70, get your blood work done. Just find out what's going on. Because I was talking about some of these 30-year-olds earlier, and the one kid changed so much, and he's early 30s, but the only thing that was off was his free testosterone. He's young, he has great T, but his free testosterone is not great. Titan Medical works with him for 4 weeks, and his body just is like burning. You went from like a Pinto to a Ferrari. It's crazy. And he's a 30-year-old.
Yeah.
And again, eats healthy, trains hard, does all these things, no stress. He's a very stress-free kind of an individual. When you meet those kind of people, your stress doesn't get to him. And it's like, so everything's great. His body wasn't changing as he thought and I felt. It wasn't. And that's why I said, go get your blood work. I'm not talking to you anymore until you get your blood work done. And it comes back and I go, here it is. We could have pounded our heads against the wall for the next 5 years. You would have lost that 30-year-old body.
Yep.
What I mean by that is how your body functions in your 30s.
Sure.
Because of your ego. I don't need that.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
Great job. Who are you hurting? Who are you hurting by not getting the blood work?
Right.
And it's just one
It
thing
also
that
hurts
was
you.
off. It's like one thing that was off, and now he's like, whew, crazy. I just wish you guys out there get your blood work done, do those things. Mary, tell me if that cramping is because of your, and that's not a Charlie horse, you knucklehead. It's a cramp. Tell me if it's happening after your high day. I agree with John. Potassium. Let's incorporate that into your meal plan so you get a little bit more. Man, I love the crowd today. You guys fully loaded here.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Johnny always brings it, always does his great stuff. Phone number is right there. You do, man. You do. Man, Johnny, thank you for hanging again.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it, man, as always. It's been a great Tuesday.
And Johnny's going to keep going. So if you guys got questions, jump on over to Titan Medical page, and Johnny be going live again doing some Q&As. Am I correct on that?
Yep, I definitely will. So one more thing. So the therapy of the week, there's a special that's going on.
Oh, nice call.
GLP-1 special, semaglutide or tirzepatide, either one. Level 1, $50 off the package. Level 2, $100 off either package. So at that point, if you want more information about it, call or text us at the number below, 727-389-3220. And our medical staff would be happy to go over all that. There's no blood work that's needed. But I always say, hey, listen, better to check and know than not know. So you can get that too if you want. But at that point, the GLP-1 specials combat the over excessive holiday eating because it's coming very soon with Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Is there going to be a Black Friday blood work special or anything like that they can look for?
So Black Wednesday is for Titan. It's always been a Black Wednesday event for us. We're going to give out at least six free blood tests.
Say that 5 times.
3 for males, 3 for females. And then at that point, we're going to be giving away free merch throughout the day and free gift certificates of $100 and free therapy. So I would definitely want to tune in or stay locked to Titan Medical Center's social media next Wednesday.
All right, guys, get on over there. Watch for Johnny going live. Ask more questions about everything Titan Medical has to help you guys achieve the ultimate superhero body. And also remember, Gladiators comes out this Friday.
Woo! Can't wait.
I know you're going Thursday night, probably.
You know it. I'm going for sure. I can't wait to see that movie.
All right, guys. We'll talk soon. Johnny, thank you, brother.
Later, Mike. I'll talk to you guys later.